Indeed, this is Postgame Live. We are live from Sixth String Grill and Stage in Foxborough. We're here after every single Patriots game, before and after, whether they're on the road or at home. They were on the road tonight. For the first time this season, we are here telling you, Bert Breer, Ted Johnson, Matt Cassel, Michael Holley, we're here telling you the bad news. You probably already know. Patriots lost for the first time this year, 37-20 to the Baltimore Ravens. The Patriots are now 8-1. Their 8-game losing streak is over. If you had a little coin on the Patriots going undefeated regular season or 19-0 for the big thing, okay, that's now off the table. They were pushed around tonight, fellas, from the start of the game. There was a temporary reprieve in the second quarter, and then third quarter and fourth quarter just pushed around. Would you say it that way, Ted Johnson?
Yeah, Michael.
Baltimore did whatever it wanted to do.
They did. I mean, they imposed their will. It's one of my favorite expressions that we use in football. The Baltimore Ravens imposed their will, just dominating on their offensive line, pushing around that front seven for the New England Patriots. I thought they'd have an answer. I really did. I know this is a unique offense. I knew there was a lot of challenges that Baltimore presented. I know the Patriots have had issues defending the run. I just thought tonight they would be a lot better, and they just weren't. I mean, they had anything they wanted, they took. I'll say this. So, 210 yards rushing total, or 200 more than that?
Yeah,
maybe.
40 carries.
40 carries.
40 carries.
Before the kneel downs, it was 213 on 39 carries.
And if you look at Baltimore throughout the season, whenever the two games that they've lost, they've had to pass more than they've rushed. Every other game, they had more rushing attempts than passing attempts. Tonight, they had 41 rushing attempts to 23 passing attempts. So clearly that was going to favor the Baltimore Ravens. So the Patriots got pushed around, and let's not kid ourselves. The killer, and we were just talking about it. Yep. We were all talking about it. The killer was the Patriots started doing that hurry-up offense that was working at the end of the first half to start the second half. Just moving the ball down in that second to start the second half, and then Julian Edelman fumbles it. They return it for a touchdown, and that was basically the end of it. Yeah, it changed the whole thing.
Because you know what, Matt? At that point, the Patriots had the first possession of the third quarter, so they score at the end of the first half to make it 17-13. They're either going to make it 17-16, but more likely, the way they were moving the ball, they were going to get this touchdown. And this play by Edelman, you look at it, okay, you've seen Julian Edelman. Okay, he slips that tackle, and then he's got the ball at the 30, but it's just nothing but green. Nothing but green in front of Humphrey. He scores, and that just changed the game there. Matt, did you think that Baltimore was capable of putting it on the Patriots like they did tonight?
No, I didn't anticipate this. I mean, I knew that they had a great running attack, but I thought that the New England Patriots would come out and have a plan to stop it. And then at the end of the day, like you said, this was probably the turning point in the game. You get the ball to start the second half. You go out, you're putting together a tremendous drive, and then the result is a touchdown the opposite direction. But then the thing is, they come right back out, and they go down, and they have, I think, an 11-play drive or something like that, and they go and score a touchdown. So they put themselves right back in the game. At that point, you need your defense to step up, and we weren't able to do that. They weren't able to do that tonight. They go out, they have an eight-minute drive. Baltimore does with 14 plays, puts another score on the board, and then the New England's got to answer at that point because now it becomes a possession game. New England goes down and throws an interception. Now they go right back to work. Another 14-play drive, 9.5 minutes. Yep. They ate up clock. I mean, they controlled the clock all night long. I'm looking at here. They had time of possession tonight. Baltimore Ravens, 37 minutes.
I mean,
that's insane.
That's incredible.
It is.
Two drives in the second half, 17 and a half minutes.
Yeah, and you know what, Bert, if you look around Sixth String here, not many people in the room, but I do see an elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is the defense. Can we finally tone it down? Because maybe the defense didn't give up 37 tonight because there's a Humphrey return, but the defense gave up 30 points.
But the bottom line is, when you needed a stop, you didn't
get it.
Right. Like you said, and you said it, like Matt. They go down, they score the touchdown. Okay, now you need a stop because you're playing from two possessions behind as a result of Humphrey picking up the ball and running it back 70 yards, whatever it was for the touchdown. So a huge piece of this is the 213 yards on 39 carries before the kneel downs.
Goodness.
5.5 yards a carry. That's indicative of an ass kicking. Like that happens. Right. That's where it is. Let's call it what it is.
Well, that's what it was.
But beyond that, there was two possessions in the second half, right? Back-to-back possessions, 14 plays, 86 yards, touchdown. Took 8:09 off the clock, then 14 plays, 62 yards, 9:35 off the clock. Those two drives right there, you needed a stop.
Right.
If you are a historic defense, you are able to get a stop. I don't care who's playing quarterback. I don't care how tough the scheme is to deal with. I don't care if they've got 5 Anthony Munozes on the offensive line. If you are a historic defense and you are what we were making you out to be over the course of the first half of this season, you somewhere along the lines are getting a stop. And to let them go 14 plays on back-to-back possessions and take a total of 18 minutes off the clock, based on how they were playing, is staggering.
All right, well, simple question for the panel here. Was this a matter of athleticism, or was it just a confusion? In other words, were the Patriots prepared for what the Ravens were going to do, but Lamar Jackson is so special and Ingram is so special that their athletic ability kind of overwhelmed them, or was it just we're not prepared for this? What do you think?
I think they were prepared, and they just couldn't stop it. Baltimore was coming off of a bye week. The Patriots are now going into a bye week, so they had a lot of time to prepare for what the Patriots were doing. Look, I can't ever say that a Bill Belichick, especially this defense, the way it's been playing, wasn't ready for what they were given. There was a lot of plays that you saw just unbelievable plays by Lamar Jackson that, you had guys there to corral him. They couldn't stop him. So to me, they were prepared. They were just overwhelmed. I think that offensive line, it was one of the better offensive lines, just annihilated that front seven. They were prepared. They just couldn't stop it. And that's a scary thing. And there was just a lot of things too, guys. Tonight, the Patriots typically don't do jumping off sides on a field goal.
Yeah. That was huge.
That was huge.
That was a huge play.
The penalties,
penalty,
hands to the face.
So many penalties to extend drives that you don't typically see. The turnovers. That was a terrible interception by Tom, along with the fumble by Julian Edelman. Just so many things that the Patriots typically don't do. They did tonight, so you got to give a ton of credit to Baltimore.
You mentioned that first play. All right, this is what Ted Johnson is talking about. Early in the game, the Ravens get the ball first. They just march right down the field. No problems. All right, no problems with the Patriots. And there's a third down play. The Patriots appear to get a stop.
Yep.
And they're lining up for a field goal. Baltimore is. And it was Calhoun jumps off. He responds to the head nod from the Ravens center,
which is what the Patriots do.
The Patriots have done that. He jumps offside, and
it's first and goal now.
Instead of the 3-zip game here, now you got a 7-zip game because first and goal. Baltimore turns that into a touchdown.
Those are the types of things too.
Huge play. Huge play in the game.
They force a field goal on the next possession. If you come out of the first two possessions where you're dealing with this complex multiple offense,
here it is, right here,
quarterback, right? And you come out of it with having allowed just 2 field goals, that's a win.
And then we got
that's a win.
Huge win.
And then for our lip readers out there, our lip readers, I don't know if we have it. Bill Belichick on the sideline says, bleeping a-hole. Yep. And now, who's he saying it to? Is he saying it to his players? Is he saying it to the officials for calling it? Is he saying it to the Ravens for beating him at his own game? I don't know.
I think it's just a general statement.
Yeah, just like looking up, like, what is this?
Oh my God. Yeah, well, Bill says that to a lot of people.
He says that a lot.
That's one of his favorite terms.
That's just that's just part of the way he talks.
The fact of the matter is, let's be honest, if it wasn't for the 2 turnovers in the second quarter by the Baltimore Ravens, this could have been a lot worse in terms of just the entire game. Without those 2 turnovers, and that changed the complexion of the first half. And we said this at halftime, to go in at 17-13 at half, that was a victory for the Patriots, considering how that first quarter went and then how everything kind of transpired in that second quarter to get back into the game, and then to come out in the second half to start that drive, and then the fumble, return for a touchdown. There wasn't a lot of good football tonight.
I just say this, it felt like the Ravens controlled it, then the turnover swung it back to the Patriots, then the one turnover swung it back to the Ravens, and it was over.
That
was it.
You guys remember the Holley Holmes Ronda Rousey fight? I was watching that a few years ago, and I'll never forget after that first round, Ronda Rousey was bleeding, and I was like, I can't believe. Holley Holmes
she bleeds, right?
I was like,
right.
The Patriots were bleeding tonight. Yep. It was like that was an ass whooping that the Baltimore Ravens put on what a lot of people were saying was a legendary defense. and they just didn't have answers.
Yep.
It was just something on national TV, everybody watching.
Yep.
The Patriots penalties, falling for the rope-a-dope with the head bob to extend the drive so they get an easy time. All the penalties.
The turnover by Edelman on that first drive.
It was. You could just tell Bill was embarrassed by that performance.
It was heavy. I think we said it was a heavyweight fight, and it was just a matter of who could roll with the punches better. And for the first time in a while, it looked like the other team, the team that was playing the Patriots, was more equipped to take punches and keep swinging than the Patriots were.
And, here's another thing. We talk about all the embarrassing things, and I was asking Cassel during the game when I saw it, the interception that Brady threw, Earl Thomas pretty much fields that punt.
Yep.
Okay, that's what it was. What do you think was happening there? I mean, that was a bizarre sequence of the game.
It was third and 10. There's a little bit of pressure on Tom, and he just –
A little bit.
Yeah. And he heaped it up.
Do you think it was a miscommunication between Brady and one of the receivers? It was like, hey, let me throw it up there and try to make it.
Physical mistake.
I honestly,
look at this.
I mean, he was open. Sanu was.
He's at least got a chance to go. You think maybe break it up or go up for the ball. So maybe he tripped, stumbled. I don't know. I couldn't see the back end, but he's running a post route. And
it's just a bad throw.
It's just
a bad throw, right?
That's just you're praying that he's going to go make a play.
I mean, Matt, that's just a physical mistake, right?
Yeah, it's a physical. Like he's just throwing it up, saying, "Look, it's a 50-50 ball. Hopefully, my guy goes up." It's a desperation throw, is what it is at that point. It's 3rd and 10. You know you're behind. You've got to put points on the board. So what do? You get some pressure in your face. It's either take the sack or maybe you throw it up. Your guy makes a 50-50 shot. You're hoping it's a 50-50 ball in which it's either pass interference, your guy goes up, or worst case scenario, you think it's broken up. Obviously, Sanu couldn't get there to where he was in position to even combat the ball and do anything like that. So with that being said, it's a turnover, and it's kind of like a punt.
Yeah. But you see Tom do that a couple times this year, though, where he just heaved it up and threw it up, though.
He's had some red zone turnovers, too. All right, now let me ask you guys this. Let me switch it up a little bit. This Baltimore team at home did this to the Patriots. We all agree. It really wasn't. I mean, it was a 17-point victory, but it really didn't feel like even that close at times. I mean, Patriots had some opportunities, but then when the Ravens needed to, they squeezed the life out of them. So they beat the Patriots, undefeated at home. They go to Kansas City with Mahomes, still healthy.
Lost by 5.
Competitive game there.
Really close. Right.
Do we need to reconsider the Baltimore Ravens?
What's scary about the Ravens to me is they've got this offense that's really difficult to deal with, and they've got a ton of room to grow on defense, and it looks like they're getting better. Right. They were a little bit of a mess a month ago. They cut Timmy Williams. They brought in Josh Bynes. Josh Bynes wound up being a godsend for them in the middle of the defense, and now it's starting to look like, all right, like the Ravens might figure it out. They've got real strength at corner. They're starting to. They've got
traded for him.
They've got a really good coordinator in Wink Martindale. Like the scary thing about the Ravens isn't what you saw tonight. It's like what they could become